Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Last Survivors, a movie about a father and son living in the woods after a war. But the son comes to realize that maybe the father didn't tell him the entire truth. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 7. Check it out at Amazon. Kindle Unlimited is free. Now, the dad and the son are living together, and they're trying to survive. And the dad gets shot, but they've been off the grid for so long. He needs to get medicine. He needs to get antibiotics so he'll survive. So he goes. He's finally ready. You know, the father's trained him. He goes out into the woods and meets Alicia Silverstone, who's in this movie. Now it says, and Alicia Silverstone. Or did it say with? I think it said and. So she becomes the love interest. Little MILF action there, Alicia. I think she looks great. And then the question becomes, who's lying? Is Alicia lying? Or did the father lie initially? No, it says with. Yeah, so it says with. So Alicia is not in the movie that much, if it says with. Stephen Moyer is the dad. He's a good actor. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. So who's lying? Now, there are cops in this towards the end of the trailer, so I'm leaning towards that the father exaggerated the claims, or that the war is over, or that he made up the war entirely. It's called Last Survivors. And I think we got some creds here. Okay. Screenplay by Josh Janowitz and directed by Drew Maria, I think. Yeah. So looks decent. Drew Van Acker, I think, is the main kid. Oh, it says with Alicia Silverstone and Stephen Moyer. Okay, so Stephen Moyer, too, is not that much into it. That's interesting. It's an interesting way to spark, to get them in the movie. Because, typically with these low-budget movies, it's very expensive to get someone like a name, Alicia Silverstone. She's not going to come cheap. Same thing with Stephen Moyer, even, who I don't think is as famous, but pretty famous. There he is there. So it's going to be mainly this kid, the whole movie, right? And a bunch of other actors. So he's the main character. The first act, this would be the way I would do it. So the first act, it establishes early on they went into the woods to survive off the grid during a war, according to the father. They did. Now he's older, and now the father gets shot by some poacher or some rando. But now their medicine's too old because they've been out off the grid too long. He needs antibiotics to save his dad. That's the first act. Second act, he goes off the grid, meets Alicia Silverstone in the second act, so she's not in the first act at all, I would say. And then, they have an affair or whatever. There's a sex scene here. Ooh, steamy. Little MILF action. So she, says, oh, you're not a killer, and I don't know, he has some kind of affair, but the father kept telling him all along, do not, if you see anybody, just kill him. He keeps telling him, just kill anybody you meet. He doesn't, of course. He can't kill her. I don't know, he gets talked out of it by her. He has sex with her. They form a bond. He, I assume, gets the medicine, goes back to the dad. Sometime in the second act, he asks a million questions. He lies to his father. And so now they've got, who lied? Did Alicia Silverstone lie, or did the father lie, or did they both somehow lie? See, now that there are cops in it at the end of the trailer, I'm leaning towards that the father may have exaggerated the war and went into the woods for a different reason. Possibly. But it's also possible true that Alicia Silverstone's lying too. Maybe the cops are the last remnants of the cops. You know, there's a war, and I don't know. Could kind of go either way, but I'm leaning towards Stephen Moyer being the liar in this. And because these cops, I mean, usually you only have cops and under certain circumstances, but they do end up killing dudes. So the father's just like, kill everybody. Just kill everybody. So maybe they both lie? I don't know. So in the third act, you find out who the liar is. I'm leaning towards the father. So maybe the father lied, and in the end, he takes the blame for all the murders, and maybe he was crazy, or maybe it's a little of both. Maybe it's somehow a little of both. There was a war, but he exaggerated it, and Alicia Silverstone is not to be trusted either way. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Would I watch this? Maybe. My only worry is that it's basically to make like survivalist look nuts, and then it really goes the other way, right? Like Stephen Moyer really lied, like he's nuts, he's out of his damn mind, and then told his kid a completely bogus story because he's crazy and wanted to keep his kid like in a divorce or something, and then Alicia Silverstone just tries to help him, and then he ends up killing a bunch of people. I mean, that would be an interesting ending to a movie, right? The kid ends up listening to the dad, killing a bunch of people, but then it turns out his dad is nuts and he made the wrong decision. That'd be a dark way to end it. Be interesting though. I don't know if they're going to end it that way though. I suspect they might kill off Alicia Silverstone because it says with Alicia Silverstone. So again, they're not in the movie that much. Or maybe Stephen Moyer goes down in a blaze of glory in the third act. Kind of hard to tell, but it'll be interesting. When they say with, it means that, it's mostly going to be that kid creeping around the woods, possibly fighting off attackers. So, I don't know. I'm mildly intrigued by this. Let's see if it has any more. Nope, no more information here. Last Survivors. Do we have a date? No date on when this plays. I'd guess within the next 2 months. But I would see it. Good on Alicia Silverstone. This is the second movie I've seen her in. Good on her coming back and doing a little steamy action. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. We'll see ya. Oh, wait. I forgot. Check us out on Bitchute, Rumble, Odysee, all those other channels for more base takes. I got a huge Hollywoke hot take today. It went an hour, basically. And we'll see ya